We are so honored and delighted to have with us tonight Bernice King, the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr. Bernice, there are moments in America that cause a sea change, where everything changes. Do you think this is one of those defining moments? And if so, how would you measure it against other historic moments that have occurred that have changed things, particularly for the African American community in America?
Well, I certainly think it can be a defining moment, depending on the way in which we conduct ourselves through this process. I think if my father were here today, he would certainly be encouraging us to conduct ourselves on the higher plane of dignity and discipline as we seek justice in this process. And at the end, when all of the cameras are gone, we got to ensure that this community can live together in peace. And that's what's going to be most important at the end. And as the CEO of the King Center, we are certainly in a position to help to facilitate that kind of healing when the time is appropriate.
Bernice, if your father were alive today, what do you think he would advise those who are upset about it to do specifically, not in general terms, but in terms of a strategy for justice?
I mean, my father always encouraged us to embrace nonviolence as a way of life, that we go through the whole process of allowing the facts to come forth and allowing the justice system to prevail. I think it is important that attention is being brought to the issue and we not let anything be swept under the rug. But we have to make sure that in doing what we're doing, that we are staying focused on the goal of getting justice in this particular situation and not let the emotions that obviously occur in situations like this get the best of us. So the strategy is to really mobilize, utilizing the principles and the steps of nonviolence in this entire process, so that, again, the end result is that this community has to live together in the end. It's bigger in the end. It's going to be bigger than Trayvon. It's going to be bigger than Zimmerman. It's really going to be about how do we forge a society where we can live together truly as brothers and sisters. And that means we have to attack the injustices that would lead to these kind of incidences. And certainly the laws that have been passed in so many states, the Stand Your Ground laws, create these types of atmospheres.
Well, I love what you're saying. Nonviolence. The practice of nonviolence, that is the key to human evolution.
In the words of my father, today the choice is no longer between nonviolence or violence, but between nonviolence and non-existence. And I would hope that justice will prevail and that we as a nation will begin to seriously look at embracing nonviolence as a way of life.
I have to applaud you, and my heart is warmed and filled with hope when you talk about nonviolence, because that is what is so important for our country to absorb out of all of this, is that violence leads to violence. Yes, violence begets violence. That when you walk around toting a gun, something bad is going to happen ultimately. Yes, and that we need to practice nonviolence in all aspects of our lives. This is a wake-up call for everybody, and it goes way beyond this case.
Yes, it
and
does.
We can hope that poor Trayvon did not die in vain if we can all learn from this.